All right, let's kick this off officially. Today, skill set workshop is all about the seller, right? That listing, the seller. What questions do we need to ask and what do we need ahead of time to make it a strong appointment, to make sure they're qualified? What at the appointment to, what does that look like to get them to sign in that very first appointment before we walk out and leave? Even if they have work to do in the house, or maybe they need to paint their walls, or they need to, do things they're not going to be ready to sell for 3 months. How do we try still to get that signature now? Right. And also then for those people who do truly want to sell, in the future when their kids graduate in June next year, or when they get a new house in April or May, what does that follow-up look like? Okay. Brian, is there anything else you want to make sure we cover based on the experience you just had with your seller, your listing?
No, not really. I think you're going to cover it. Basically, just setting their expectations from beginning to end.
Okay. The very first thing is, let's set those expectations. The very first thing, let me ask this question, both on Zoom and in the room. So we're talking to a person, they have a house. They want to sell this house. Or they think they want to sell this house. What do we do first? What is the very first step?
Find out their motivation.
Yes. Thank you. Absolutely. Why are they moving in the first place? Get their motivation, get that why. Why is that so important? Why do we need to know that? What do you think? There's a few reasons.
Well, to find out, one, maybe a time frame will come with that motivation. What has changed in their life? What life circumstances might have changed? How sensitive you might need to move, because oftentimes I find that people are wanting to sell a house that was occupied by a family member that is either deceased or sick and can no longer live there on their own.
Yeah, so we need to find out how true that motivation is, right? What their reasoning is. Like you said, is it they can't live there anymore? Is it, they have to sell because they're moving out of state for a job? What is the reason? The other reason we want to find out that motivation, that why, is if that person, let's say that person changed their mind. Okay, so scenario. Let's say that Vivian is selling her house. And we talk on the phone with this great conversation. She's all excited to sell her house, and she's moving to, where are you moving to? Jamaica. She's moving to Jamaica. We have an office in Jamaica, by the way. I can refer you to a buyer's agent in Jamaica. We have an office there. Okay, so she's moving to Jamaica. She wants to sell her house. She's getting to the islands. I love it. And we have this great conversation on the phone. I'm like, great, you want to sell your house? You're moving to Jamaica. You got family in Jamaica. Let me help you. I'm coming out. Now, let's say I come out, I price the house, we go through everything, and she's like, well, let me think about it. Or, yeah, I want to do it. And then all of a sudden she changes her mind. Right? What's a reason someone might change their mind right now, this time of year? Multiple reasons.
The economy is so unstable right now.
They're going to use the economy as a excuse. Which, by the way, this Thanksgiving, absolutely. They'll use the holiday word, which, by the way, I'm going to give you the greatest verbiage for that in just a few minutes. Don't want to forget. Okay. That one always makes me laugh, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Maybe she hasn't found a house in Jamaica. There's a reason, right? They're gonna give you something. So if we don't know their motivation, right? If I didn't spend a good few minutes, not an hour, just a few minutes, finding out that Vivian wants to go to Jamaica because she misses her family who's there, and she only gets to see them once every 2 years. Right? And she works remote, she can be anywhere. Feel the story, right? You hear the story. So if I don't know why, I have no fuel, I have no power. If she all of a sudden says, yep, never mind, I think I'll wait because the economy. Nope, I think I'll wait, see what the spring does. If I don't have any of her words, I have nothing to go off of. Okay, I can't be like, now, Vivian, understand, first of all, thank you for sharing that you want to wait. Let me ask why. Right, let me get that information. Now, I know in the beginning, you mentioned you really wanted to be there for the holidays with your family because you've been missing them for years. And that you've been wanting, this has been a dream of yours for years. So I could show you how to get there sooner. And not have this being a concern of yours. Would you like to be there for Christmas? Now I was thinking, if I didn't know her why, I couldn't use that, right? I'd just be like, oh, you want to wait because the economy. Okay, now we're just going to talk about the economy. So to Brian's point, very first thing is, why are they moving? Why are they selling their house? And where are they going to? Okay. The second thing is what? Okay, so we found out why they want to move. So we found out why they're moving. What's the second thing? Before we have the appointment, by the way, this is before we're even going on the appointment. What else do we need to know? What do you guys think? What do you need to know to be able to price a house properly?
What do you need to know?
To price a house properly?
Comps,
So what do we need to know from the homeowner to be able to do comps?
how much they owe.
What they owe? Yep, what else? Which, by the way, you can look it up on Bright MLS what they owe, but I love to ask them. You need to know about the house. Right, so the very first part of the conversation, right? So if I'm on the phone with a potential seller, let's say I call an expired today, and we find out that they are really wanting to get to going with Jamaica. Okay. And they were hoping to be there already, but their house didn't sell. So now it's finding out, why do they want to go to Jamaica? Why do they want to do that in the first place? Why is that so important to them? Spend some time there. Now it's finding out, hey, listen, for me to be able to price your house in this market today properly, I want to ask you a few questions. This is the checklist part. This is your seller questionnaire that you should literally have in front of you, whether it's a Google Doc that we shared with you, it's in our plan that we, agent resource guide, or if you have it printed out, this is where you're like, okay, so I can price your house properly, Vivian. Let me ask you some few questions. This will only take a minute. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Do you have a garage? How many car garage? Tell me about your backyard. What's in your backyard? Talk to me a little bit about your house, right? In general, tell me about your kitchen. What about appliances? What else do I need to know about your home? You are gathering details. Because if you don't have these details, can you actually go on to Bright MLS and do a comp? No, not at all, right? Not at all, because you don't know what you're comparing it to. So how do you know what to compare it to? Right? So ask them questions about their house. Okay, so first is their why. Why are they moving? Second is the checklist of their house. Tell me all about their bedrooms, bathrooms, garage, addition. Tell me about your kitchen, what type of countertops, do you have hardwood floors, do you have stainless steel appliances? Basement, is it finished? Is it not finished? Okay. Get all the the more details you have, the stronger your comps can be. All right, what's the third? It's like your step by step to a listing. What's your third? What's your next step?
That's what we're doing step by step the listing.
Yeah, so we just got a phone, we're gonna go with an expired,
Okay.
right, but a seller, any lead. So your first step is finding out why they want to sell in the first place. What's their motivation, right? Second is, tell me all about your home, get in the nitty gritty of it. What's the third? Setting the appointment. 1, 2, 3. Love it. That's exactly right. Hey, so Vivian, I am so excited to help you get to Jamaica to be close to your family for the holidays. And for every birthday and holiday next year, so you don't miss anything that you've been missing in the past. You want me to poke your pain point? Okay, can't do that if you don't have motivation. And thank you for sharing the details of your house. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to work up comps, a pricing analysis. Okay, based on today's market. And I'm looking forward to coming out now. First of all, you mentioned there's a few people involved in selling your home. Who's all involved?
Myself, my husband.
Okay, what's your husband's name? John. Okay, great. So let me ask you, are John and you available tonight at 5:30? Or does 6:15 work better for the two of you? Okay, don't be afraid of those off times, by the way. People are more likely there's a psychology behind a person saying yes. If you give them an off time. A lot of times we're like 5, 6, 7. I said 5:30 or 6:15. How many choices did I give her? 2. If I gave her
Okay.
more than 2, what do you think would happen? She'll say no to me. People need only people need 2 options to choose one. Okay, so I gave 2 options, 5:30, 6:15. She chose 6:15. So now I'm gonna line up the, Brian, this goes to what you said, the expectations. Vivian, I am really excited to come out, meet with you and John, both of you will be there, right? Okay, by the way, they both have to be there, because whoever's not there is the decision maker and you're wasting your time. So I'm excited to meet you and John tonight at 6:15. What I'm gonna be doing in the meantime today, right when we got off the phone, now here's the thing. I might be in my lead gen time, so I'm not doing it right when I got off my phone. I'll do it after my lead gen block in my admin time. Protect your time, people. I'm gonna tell her I'm gonna do it when I go off the phone. Hey, when I go, you're on my calendar for tonight at 6:15. Your address I have is 123 Cookie Road. Is that correct? Okay, just making sure I'm going to the right place. I am going to work up a whole pricing analysis. Makes it sound really important. She's all like, oh my God, a whole pricing analysis, right? And when I look forward to seeing you tonight, helping you get to Jamaica to be close to your family, and sitting down and really walking you through not just what the market's saying for your home and your price. Market is saying, hear that? I don't determine price. I have nothing to do with price, neither do they. The market determines it. And share with you tonight how I market homes to get them sold. Okay. Now, let me ask you, Vivian, is there anything else specific you would like me to have available when we meet tonight? Hear that question? Vivian, is there anything else you would like me to make sure I bring with me to have available when we meet tonight? Why am I asking that question? What does that do? What do you think it does? How does it make a person feel?
Sense of reassurance.
Sense of reassurance? Absolutely.
It sounds like you want to be prepared to meet whatever needs.
You want to be prepared to meet whatever needs they have. It also gives them buy-in. Now they feel they're a part of it, where we are now partners. It feels as if, oh, she's already my agent. I'm not making this now about, me, I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. I just pulled you into the picture. And you're like, oh, wow, that was a really nice question of her to ask. Now, most likely they'll be like, no, I can't think of anything. But if they ask you a question, just be like, great, let me write that down, I'll have that available. What do they say? Your response is, let me write that down, let me have that available. All right, so we have the 3 steps: motivation, nitty gritty of their house, in other words, criteria, bedrooms, bathrooms, garage, granite countertops, Formica countertops, hardwood floors, carpet, what's their backyard, tell me about your home. We need specifics to do comps. 3rd step, set the appointment with all decision makers. Okay, and then tell them what they're going to expect at the appointment. Okay, questions on that before we move to the appointment itself?
And you say you're gonna take the pricing analysis, that CMA that includes the pending actives and. so-
Yeah, exactly, yeah, the pricing analysis, so market analysis, pricing analysis, comps, they all mean the exact same thing. It's going into Bright MLS and doing pendings, actives, coming soons, under contract, sold, closed. Yep. And by the way, a good rule of thumb is if, now again, your comps are only as good as what's hanging out there in the market. So sometimes we have to play, right? If there's not, go back in time. That closed in April and a home that closed and a home that goes now, price drop. If a home closed in April 350, it is not 350 today.
Yeah.
It is not 350. Okay. So, if you can find.
Say it
coming
again,
soon-
I didn't get that one. If you
So I
close at
said-
350,
If a home in April of this year
yes,
closes for 350, and you're going to a home that their next door neighbor, exact same house, their next door neighbor to sell that house today, it is most likely not 350, it is probably less.
yes,
Because we're officially in a shifted market.
yes,
Meaning
yes,
Homes are dropping in price. We are-
yes.
So, that answer your question?
One more question.
Yeah,
So would you do that for the last 30 days, like 3 months?
good question. So for comps, right now, I always do 90 days to start. But if you do 90 days in the criteria and nothing comes up, then maybe you go back 180. So you have to sit there and just play with the numbers, right? Never go over a year, ever. Sometimes you might literally only have one comp. Hey, here is your house that's a detached 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a garage, 2,400 square feet. Here is something that is currently coming soon that is just like yours, only a little bit bigger. And there's nothing else that has been on the market ever this entire year. This is your only comp then. This is what you're going with. So this is a competition. So if this is listed for 350 and it's a little bigger and they're exactly the same amount of size, what is this? That's why when you work out a market analysis or pricing analysis, whatever you want to call it, it's always a range. It's always a gray area. There's no such thing as black and white when it comes to price,
Right.
ever. Right? That's kind of the crazy thing about, and that's also the hardest thing to learn is how do I price this? So you just have to look, see what is, you never want to compare a rancher to a colonial. You never compare a townhouse to a detached. Right? You get whatever is the most similar and you show that to the person. Now, if there is a neighborhood that has tons of homes, in my neighborhood right now, if you did comps, like 22 homes are going to show up. Right? My neighborhood is cookie cutter townhouses. You don't bring 22 homes to an appointment. 5 is your max. 5 is your max. Why am I saying that?
So is it 5 under?
5 of a mix. So
Oh, 5.
if you can find
Okay.
something that's, if you can find something that's active or coming soon, you want that because that's its competition. Because that allows you to say to the person, hey, Vivian, I know you said you want your home listed for 350. And this home right here, the market is now saying it's probably closer to like 335, maybe 335.9. This home right here is the most similar to yours, right? It has one extra half bathroom than yours, but other than that, it is pretty much similar. And it's on the market for 333. So when buyers are coming around, which house are they gonna go see? This is your competition. Let's capture all the buyers for you. What price do you want to start at? I'm thinking this is 333. Let's go 332.9. Just shy, because buyers be like, ooh, I save 100. What do you say, right? So if there's an active or coming soon, always include that, because that is the easiest thing to talk folks to, right? If there's a bunch of actives, a bunch of coming soon, a bunch of pendings, a bunch of under contracts, a bunch of close, put the active coming soon in, that's most similar, or two of them. Put in a close that has been closed in the most recent time frame. Right, meaning whatever, if there's 5 close things, whatever is the most recent and the most similar. And then, you know, pick 1 or 2 from the other categories, doesn't really matter, to be honest, as long as, again, they're the most similar. Okay. Does that help? Greatest way to really be really fast and understand how to do pricing is every single day. Every day. You can start out with, it's kind of like going to the gym. You can start out with like maybe 3 times a week, 2 times a week, and then move up. Pick an active, just jump on Bright MLS, find an active listing. Doesn't matter what it is. Find a listing. Find something that excites you. Pretend like you have an appointment. Do not call the seller. You're not allowed to go get your license taken away. But pretend like you have an appointment and do comps. Do your own market analysis. If you sit and do a market analysis on a new active listing every single day, you'll be able to whip out comps in like 15 minutes. And you'll be able to understand it more. Practice, practice, practice. Okay. Any questions before we move to the next step? So what's the next step? You guys tell me. Where are we going next? The appointment. The appointment. Now here's the thing, every agent brings something different to the appointment because it's based on who you are as a person. Some agents love a presentation. Okay. In Designs in Command, there is a listing presentation already put together for you. Do not use the entire thing. It is way too long and nobody has patience for that. But it is there for you to pick out which slides you want to use as your presentation. So if you are very comfortable with that type, like I want something to bring with me, go into Designs in Command today and make your presentation. By the way, when I say make, you're putting your picture and name on it because it's already created. And then you're looking at it saying, what slides do I like? And then take out all the others. And then you download it and there's your presentation. That's it.
Install it again.
Yep, literally in Command. You're not making anything. You're just editing.
Can I make a comment on it? It's difficult to work with it. I try working on it. It's difficult.
Yeah, let me I'm gonna bring it up for
It
everybody.
is there, but practically to use it, to get it out, the system doesn't let you really manipulate it at ease the way it should be. Unless I don't know how to do it.
Here, let me go to create and print, continue. There it is right there. Let me go back because I saw it. So under create design, you'll click on print. And then once you do that, you have to wait for the screen to come up and you'll see on the left-hand side, it'll say listing and underneath there, you'll see listing presentation. And there'll be a bunch of templates that they are all the exact same thing, just different cover looks. Just pick whatever you like. This happens to be the one I like. Although, to be honest, I would change this picture to the picture of their house. So like if I was going to Vivian's house, I would stalk Google, or I might even drive by your home, take a quick pic and put it in front of us. Yeah. Right? So. Oops. On Zoom, this is always fun to do. So here's the thing. The second page of this talks about instructions on how to create it. I'm just going to delete that page. So what I'm doing right now is I'm clicking on pages, right? So the first page here, I'm going to change this verbiage. I'm not going to go to a listing appointment with something that says listing presentation template. So instead, I'm going to say that this is 1, 2, 3. Come on. Come on. Thank you. Cookie Road. Towson, Maryland, 21204. Okay. And I can like move it around. I can change it however I want. I would change this to like a different font. So I put that as black. Bold that so it looks like everything. Then I have a picture of their house. Okay.
Question.
Mhm.
This one needs to be a planner, what's the, I'm sorry, the appointment, what's the consultation.
So for a listing, the listing is the appointment. There's no consultation.
Okay.
Yeah, so like a buyer,
Oh, that's right.
you would have a buyer consultation, learn what they want before you do showings, get them in touch with a lender. Listings, way easier. You want to sell a house? Fantastic. I'm coming out tonight, 6:15. Let me get my things together. Here I am at your house.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So you get to skip all those other steps. By the way, even if they want to buy a house in the state of Maryland, and they will need both the sale of their home and money they got from it and also lending, I will still go for the listing appointment first. Get them to lock that in, and then while at the listing appointment, I will line up with Patrick or Dan or someone while there to be like, hey, let's jump on the phone with them together. Right? As opposed to, let me get you in touch with a lender before I come out for the listing appointment. The second someone has a house to sell, bam, listing appointment. You can get the buyer's stuff while you're at the appointment. You can do that next.
That appointment where you're sharing the analysis and all that, are you also trying to get them to sign the agreement?
100%, because if you don't, what's happening? So for those on Zoom, that was a great question. At the listing appointment, are you just sharing the analysis or are you trying to get the agreement?
Agreement,
Get
definitely.
the agreement.
If you, so
Get the
what you're
agreement.
bringing- yeah, so what you're bringing to the listing appointment are these items. One, the CMA you worked up, printed out. Okay. Comparative market analysis, that's what that stands for. By the way, never use CMA to a seller. That's a real estate term. You can say comparative market analysis. You can say the whole phrase. They'll understand what that is. Right?
Don't say that.
Don't say, oh, I'm gonna bring a CMA. They don't know what that is, right? Okay, so you're gonna bring the CMA. If you want to have a presentation, you can bring that as well. Either print it out or on like an iPad. Totally up to you. I'm not a presentation person, so I do not bring them with me. I don't like PowerPoints. As you can tell, I do not like PowerPoints. It's not my comfort zone. I want a relationship. Right now, if I go to a luxury appointment, meaning 1 million or above, absolutely. Oh, I am full on computer, PowerPoint. I'm asking ahead of time if I can use the Wi-Fi. Oh, it's
But you know.
No, luxury appointment is totally different than this. That's a whole nother class.
For you though, it's more about like having a conversation, not about.
No, it's not about me presenting, because then I'm making it about me. The appointment's not about us. It's about you. It's about you going to Jamaica. Right? It has nothing to do with us. Right? So I do bring one specific thing in that presentation. In command, there is one page, 2 pages, sorry, there's 2 pages I will print out. By the way, these are pages that you can actually print and just have a stack of them in color, ready.
Yeah, okay.
And create folders, create a filing system, have these things ready. Right? This is what makes you, as a new agent, it's easy to have like, oh, I have this one person. Let me get prepared. I have all this time. And what happens when you have 2, 3 listings and 5 buyers? I know an agent who in December had 23 listings. Every year she has a good 20 some listings, November, December. She cleans up. Why do you think that is, by the way? Why do you think this one agent I know cleans up in these 2 months?
Is she doing some type of client events before? Nope.
No, not at all. I know you would think that, no? She does offer marketing, yeah, she does way more social media and flyers and stuff this time of year, yeah.
Like just very specific.
She does more in November, December than others.
So that means that she would have to be getting those speeds.
She triples her numbers. What I mean by that is she knows that 90% of all real estate agents starting November 1st take their foot off the gas. 90% of all real estate agents nationwide take their foot off the gas. They slow down. So she spends those 2 months in her fastest time. Like she spends, if she's working 8-hour days, she works 10-hour days. She chooses these 2 months. So in January and February, she has the most closings she ever has.
C'est ça, c'est le moment.
She captures the market. That's the only thing different she does. She just goes after it harder than anybody else. That's it. But if you think about it, she doesn't have things prepared. She doesn't have her checklists, her templates, what do I want to bring with me? She doesn't practice. Do you think she could have that many listings? No, she was working like 23-hour days and get like 1 hour of sleep, right? So don't wait till you go and have a listing. Get in there today, this week. What do I want to bring with me? Again, there's 2 things in that presentation. I will show it to you really quick that I personally will print out and bring. And it is this page, which is called the process. By the way, this is a page that take this, print it out, and then just make tons of copies of it. And then you have it ready to go in your folder. And then the other thing I will bring is this one. Your needs come first. Now, depending on the house, there are a few other pages in here that talk about marketing and marketing strategies. So I'll have those printed out. Like I'll have them like, there's a folder that when I was active out there, I had one folder that was called marketing, one called the process, one called your needs come first. Like I literally had a box at home and in my trunk, the real estate trunk. Okay. And it was everything you needed. Blank exclusive right to sell agreements, each of these buyers, exclusive agent agreement, everything in it. I am not an organized person, but to have the business you want, you have to summon your most organized self, right? Think of like when you were back in school and you had like those binders, you had those things, you had like
Trapper keeper.
the trapper keepers, yes, and you had like the separators and the tabs, you had to name the tabs, right? And get all organized with it, right? You had the folders, right? Before you go into 2023, what do you want your trunk to look like? How do you organize it? What type of files do you want at home? How do you organize it? Right? So that way you're not scrambling, you're not feeling stressed, and you can do more faster. That's very important,
So you always have your exclusive agreement.
always. So when you go to the appointment, you have whatever type of presentation or forms you want with you. I showed you mine. Okay. The market analysis you worked up for that home. I always bring my notebook with me that has their motivation in there. So I want to show them that I took the time to write out or type up, doesn't matter. What were their words? So I can also rely back on that. I don't have a memory. They don't need to they don't need to have me memorize that. They just need to see that I opened a book and I'm like, hey, listen, I see here that, wow, your sister and your cousin, your uncle and your roommate, your blah, blah, blahs are all in Jamaica. What else is exciting to you about that? Now I can take more notes. Now you're seeing like, wow, just took the time to really write out my words. And you always have the exclusive right to sell completely filled in, minus the box that says price. That's the only thing on the exclusive right to sell you would want. Everything else is typed up, printed out. Because when it's typed up and printed out, and then each of the initial and signature spots, you either highlight or you go to Staples and you buy those little, like, you know, those little like colorful tabs. Try to put the tabs next to it and you highlight all the initial and signature spots. Because there's a psychology. If I'm sitting there with Vivian, right? And we went and I toured your home and we're sitting down and we're talking about Jamaica and we're getting to know each other a little bit. And I'm asking you, hey, what are your needs? What are you looking for? What's important to you and the agent you hire? By the way, that's your first question when you sit down at the table. Revisit their motivation. What's important to you and the agent you hire? Now who's it all about? Them. The other agents are not walking and doing that. By the way, everybody interviews more than one agent. Everybody. The other agent coming in after you, who just came in before you, did not ask him that question. They came in there with the sales pitch. Hey, I can sell your house. I can get you the most money for your house. I'm the best agent ever. Hire me. That worked back in like the 90s and like early 2000s. People want a connection now. It's a new day. They want a connection. Okay. So typed up, printed out, ready to go, highlighted or tabbed, exclusive right to sell. I do also like to bring the disclosure disclaimer statement with me as well. There's the only two forms I'll bring. The other things, once they sign all that, can be emailed to them in DocuSign. Why do I also bring the disclosure disclaimer printed out? Does anyone want to guess?
Yes.
It's a law. It's a law. They have to fill that form. It's mandatory.
It's a lot. It's a mandatory Maryland Commission form, and trying to send that in DocuSign to get them to fill out, to be honest with you, that is the one form of DocuSign that's just a pain. It's just a pain. Because if they have anything to disclose, they have 3 pages of check boxes that you have to put in all the little bullet points for them to check off. Where
Are you, like, at what were you, they were like, they said, well, send that in advance. Like, before you even get to the appointment, send that to them so that they can fill it out. So it doesn't take as much, because it's so heavily documented, it doesn't take them.
okay, so that's a good question. So in Glover, yes, so there are many agents who do send things in advance. I might send them, here's the